Good day, my name is McFerran. As you may know from previous videos, I am House Counsel for Tax Deferred Exchange Services, who is the company along with our law office who is providing you qualified intermediary services for your tax deferred exchange transaction. Good day. By now, you are in the midst of the 45-day declaration period. Hopefully by now you've had the chance to read through our letter and literatures and possibly that long, horrendous video of almost 20 minutes that went over the declaration rules for your tax deferred exchange. This video is a follow-up to that. It will be much shorter, but it's intended to help and assist you with the stresses associated with the 45-day declaration period. One thing we know in our practice is that the 45-day declaration period is one that creates a tremendous amount of stress for our clients because it is a time period for which we have no opportunity to extend, no opportunity to modify, no opportunity to do it over. In short, if we're involved in the exchange period, we must take this 45-day declaration period very seriously. By now, you've been out in the marketplace looking for properties. You've probably seen that there's an awful lot of other property buyers looking for properties at the same time. The competition is probably fierce, and you're growing frustrated in your ability to find replacement properties. Well, don't feel bad. Many parties are out there today in your same situation. Our overall goal in this video is to provide you hopefully some stress relief, to understand, of course, that the 45-day declaration period allows you to declare replacement properties, but our hope in this video is to encourage you to actually enter into a purchase and sale agreement for the properties that you're intending to acquire prior to the expiration of the 45-day time period. My goal in this video is to also provide you some information as to the consequences associated with the failure of your ability to complete a tax deferred exchange. We want to have that discussion in the midst of this because I think it's important to understand that if you declare, you are leaving the window of opportunity open for an additional 135 days no matter what. The declaration period during the 45 days is the first window of opportunity. By closing on your transaction and entering into a tax deferred exchange, you have locked yourself into a 45-day commitment with the Congress and the Internal Revenue Service and ourselves to complete a tax deferred exchange. If you don't declare, or you decide that you choose not to declare any properties whatsoever, I think it's important to understand that your period of your exchange will end promptly on the morning of the 46th day after the closing of your relinquished property. On that date, your exchange will fail, not from a standpoint of failure as such, but it will fail to extend, and as a result, it will be as if the transaction as an exchange never happened, and we will, on the 46th day, refund to you all of your monies in your exchange account, less, of course, our fee up to that time period for the completion of our services. You will complete a sale transaction as a result because you were unable to complete the acquisition of your replacement properties within the 45 days or enter into a declaration to keep the exchange period open for an additional 135 days. So let's assume that you've opted to declare. Let's assume that you're continuing to keep the transaction open for 135 days. And I need to have you know that once you do declare, you have automatically kept the exchange period open for an additional 135 days, almost, doesn't that sound like an attorney, almost no matter what. Because your exchange period will remain open until the 181st day, whether or not you're able to acquire the properties that you declare. So let's pretend for just a moment that you use the 3-property rule, our best practice rule. And let's pretend that you declared 3 properties, but you didn't spend as much time as you possibly should and found that the properties that you declared were unable to be purchased. Let's pretend that the first property that you declared was actually sold to another third party before you had the chance to even negotiate a purchase and sale agreement. Let's pretend that the second property was one that the negotiations went nowhere, and let's pretend that the third property had problems with contamination. All 3 properties were unable to be purchased. However, they were the 3 properties that you declared. When does your exchange period end? It ends on the 181st day, notwithstanding that you may have discovered on day 50 or 52 or 54 that you were unable to acquire the replacement properties. Why is it that the exchange period remains open for the rest of that time period? Because the Internal Revenue Service Code says so. It is not our decision that we are unable to relinquish the money to you or allow you to get the money out of your exchange account. It is a matter of federal rules and regulations associated with the tax-deferred exchange. Again, this is why in this video we're making it very, very clear that you need to be very serious in your declaration of replacement properties, because if you aren't, that money is going to be tied up in your exchange account until the end of the 180th day. Again, the 181st day is the date to which your exchange will end. When does the exchange end prior to the 180th day? Well, it ends when you have acquired all the replacement properties that you have declared, and if for some reason you end up acquiring the last replacement property that you've declared on, say, date 160 days from the date of the closing of your relinquished property, then any monies that will remain in your exchange account will be refunded to you or distributed to you at that time. There are 4 times to which monies can come out of an exchange account. The first time period already passed. First time period was at the closing of your relinquished property. That was addressed in our literature in the past. That was addressed in the qualified exchange agreement that you have with our company. It's also addressed in one of our previous videos. The second time period when you can get money from your exchange is on the 46th day. We talked about that briefly in this video, where at that time, if there is no declaration of replacement properties, then on the 46th day, the monies will come to you. If for some reason you did declare any properties whatsoever, the exchange period will remain open for the 135 days additional for the total of 180 days. If you do acquire all of your replacement properties and the time period doesn't take the 180th day, then we can refund whatever monies are available after we have closed on the acquisition property that you have declared in your 45-day declaration. These are important time periods to keep in mind. A couple considerations. Keep in mind that the 45 days goes very quickly. Keep in mind, as we said in our previous video, that there's no requirement that you declare on a consistent basis. If we declare on midnight of the 45th day, that is adequate. What do we need for a proper declaration? Number 1, we need a writing. Number 2, we need to have it signed by all exchangors. Number 3, we need to have an unambiguous description of the property or the properties that you wish to declare under whatever rule that you have used based upon the previous information we've provided you. Number 4, that needs to be delivered to our office in a fashion that we can certify that it was delivered to our office within the 45-day time constraints, such as date stamping, fax, email, personal delivery. All those methods of delivery will assure that we have received it in a timely fashion. If it is not received in a timely fashion, the exchange will fail. So it's incumbent upon you to make sure that you have proof that we have received that information from you by midnight of the 45th day. If you have declared a property or properties at any time during the 45-day declaration period, and you find that you need to make a change, we are happy to make a change in your declaration. We are happy to make any changes necessary up until midnight of the 45th day. Keep in mind, lastly, for this video, the rules associated with the tax-deferred exchange are deemed to be a privilege brought to us from the Congress as well as the Internal Revenue Service. As a result, this is an area of practice that is narrowly construed, and when we're talking about 45 days, we are talking about 45 calendar days. If your 45-day declaration period ends on a Saturday or a Sunday or a holiday, it ends on a Saturday or a Sunday or a holiday. It doesn't matter about business days, it doesn't matter about holidays. There are no extensions in the 45th day. if you are unable to acquire a replacement property that you did declare, you cannot replace it with another declared property either during the time period after the 45 days or at any further time during your tax deferred exchange. These are the stressors that we bring up in this video. Please, please, please contact us with additional questions that you have regarding your specific situation. Our people are available daily, phone, fax, email, in whatever fashion that you need to address your questions. We're here to serve you. Good day.